God. Again, great question. The first thing I tell someone if you're ever thinking about writing a book is just build the habit of writing. So what does that look like? You can go old school and get you a composition book. And just like, hip hop artists would have their notebooks and write down rhymes, it's the same principle. And here's the thing, building the habit doesn't mean you're writing to be published. You're writing to help find your voice. You're writing to help translate how did I feel today? Even as something simple of how was my day? What did I like about my day? What didn't I like about my day? Where would I like to travel? What's the next beverage I want to order from the bar? I know I'm doing shameless plugs. I know it's terrible. That's the time for that. But no, but build the habit of just writing, and don't write thinking you're going to write a book. Just write down your thoughts, your ideas, your aspirations, your fears. Just get in the habit of writing. And what's going to happen is there's going to be that one idea that separates itself from every other idea. And that's going to drive you to dive deeper into whatever that topic is. And even still, like I said earlier, when you get to the point of where you want to take it further, don't think you got to put everything in one book. I think that's the biggest mistake people make. Like, I put everything in here. Think about, like, raise your hand if you've heard of a movie called Star Wars. Raise your hand if you've heard of that. Who can tell me how many chapters or whatever or episodes are in Star Wars?
6.
Some say 6.
No, it's like 20. Look, even the original story. There's like 20.
Because you think about the original Star Wars was what, episode 4, right? And then you had Empire Strikes Back was episode 5, and then what, Return of the Jedi episode 6. Then they did the prequels. So episode 1 was what, The Phantom Menace, and then I forget what the second one was, and then it was like Revenge of the Sith was 3rd, and then they had the new ones, what, 7, 8, and 9. So there's technically 9 books. So did Star Wars put all of the stories into one movie, or did they spread it out over multiple things? Why can't you do that with your writing? Don't think like, for people who might be driven to write about their life story, their memoir, don't think you got to put everything in one book. You might have one part talk about before you were 18, and then 18 to 35, and everyone in here looks about 36, basically. So you're 36. So I'm saying that to say, build the habit, and the habit's going to look different. But like I said, whether it's a composition book or even typing them on your notes feature, just build the habit. And whatever thoughts are up in here, whatever it is, just start putting it down. And then the topic that keeps you up at night is going to be the topic that drives you to go further with it. And however you do it, whether it's poetry, we need more poetry, we need more creative thinking. We need more, not the whole like in school A, but you can now just put it out there. Or, the autobiography or the interview or whatever. Just go where it takes you, and don't think you got to put everything in one book. That's probably the biggest mistake that people make. And not only that, like, I'll be honest, like my first 2 books, honestly, truth be told, I didn't put page numbers in there. You want to know why? Because for some people, a barrier for reading is looking at how many pages. Like, oh, I want to read this. Like, oh, it's like 5,000 pages. Nope, put it away. But the first 2 books, I was very intentional. I didn't put page counts in there because I wanted people just to focus on reading. That's it. That's what I did. So using that mindset, don't think you got to put everything in there. Don't think you have to have a 5,000-page book. One of the questions I answered earlier with as a man, think if it's only like 50, 60 pages, but it's real powerful in regards to the topics covered. So who's to say you can't do a 30, 40, 50-page masterpiece, or you can't do a part 1, part 2. I don't know if you're going to do 9 like Star Wars, but I'm just saying, who says you can't do a part 1, part 2, part 3? Go where it takes you, basically, but just start. The way they say with anything, the hardest part is what? Getting started. Second hardest part is what, maintaining it. Sounds like me. The hardest part for me was what, getting started walking in the park. I've kind of fallen off that wagon, but we get back on. Trust me, we get back on. So, yeah, just go there, basically.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I'm loud.
Okay.
When you start writing a book, do you have the shape of it already in your head? You know, or do you sometimes get surprised? I mean, I know you said with your 9 stories, you thought it was going to be 13. Does that happen often, or do you usually feel like you kind of know how it's going to be before you start?
A couple of the books I kind of knew, like Quotes and Notes, which are all original quotes with the exception of one that I borrowed from my grandmother. I knew how I was going to structure it, where it's the quote, it's the explanation behind it, and it's a space for people to journal whether they agree or disagree with it. So that I kind of knew. The first one, I started diving in like traditional poetry, but then I'm like, if I'm taking page counts away as to take away a barrier, sometimes, like I said, poetry is creative, but sometimes it can be a little bit too abstract for some people. So why not give them a preview so then when they read, it's like, oh, I know what I'm reading. So some of them I kind of knew. Some of it was really organic. It's almost like for example, you listen to, are there any jazz people in here? Anyone that listen to jazz from time to time? Okay, you know how one of the beautiful things about jazz is what, improvising. I'll be honest, no, my books were improvising. Oh, I just love it. It's not like I know I'm going to write it this way. And even the audio books, like all that stuff for the audio, you're going to laugh. This is how we did our audio book. Andrew, here's the topic. You got 5 minutes, come up with something. Go in the booth. Okay, let's go ahead and record. And everything we did was on one take. It wasn't like we started and stopped. All 5 of those audiobooks I freestyled. I didn't come in there with a notepad. Made that stuff up. We're in the booth. So it really just depends. And that's sometimes, guys, you know, that's sometimes how life is. Sometimes in life you have this plan and your plan goes left and right. You're like, what was I thinking or not thinking? Then other times, like for those of you, have you all ever gone somewhere, you just gone on and drive, you don't know where you're going, but you go on and drive and you lower the window, let the wind hit you, and then you listen to your favorite song and you see this random spot. Let me just pull over and see what that's all about. Raise your hand if you've ever had that experience. That's sometimes how my books have been. Basically, like I'm just going to go. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere. I don't know what I'm looking for, but when I see it, I know. Like it's just like life. Come on. And y'all have plans that didn't work out. Some of you really thought out and mapped out and strategized, and it's like it does not look anything like I mapped out. That sounds familiar? Some of you didn't have a clue, and you landed somewhere that was better than your wildest dreams and wildest expectations. Does that sound familiar? Guess what? Sometimes you can do that when it comes to writing. So like the kids say, it be like that sometimes. Yes, it does.
Thank you, Andrew. Have any more questions from the audience? Of course, this has been a great conversation for this afternoon. My question is, how can we connect with you after this is over today?
After this is over, of course, if people like to make a purchase, you are more than welcome to do so. And I will sign. I know the gentleman had to leave a little bit earlier, but I do sign and all that and then some. The easiest way to stay connected with me is probably, and I have bracelets I'm going to give out to everybody and whatnot, but now there's a wonderful tool called Linktree, linktr.ee/AuthorASnorton. And the reason why I like using Linktree is when you go on it, I've got my website, got my socials. So instead of like go here, go here, go here, I'm like, that's too much stuff. It's hard for me to remember. So if I'm like, just go on Linktree, linktr.ee/AuthorASnorton, then you can add me on whatever platforms you're used to using and go ahead and go from there. That's probably the easiest way to stay connected. So I like those, go to this one stop, and then you guys know your habits of what you're going to use and what you're not. So that's going to be the
easiest way. And I'll make sure I've got enough bracelets. I'll make sure everybody in here gets one. And that's just a way of saying thank you. Not only just for supporting me, but supporting the venue. Just by a show of hands, how many for people this is their first time being out here? Raise your hand if that's you. That's almost everybody in here. Seriously, give yourselves a round of applause. And now that we have any of the staff that work here, raise your hands. Let's recognize the staff that are floating around, making sure to keep a cool vibe and cool energy. And then you guys have been here since what, October?
October, yeah.
How many of you, when you walked in, felt like this has been here for a while? Raise your hand if that is you. So I'm going to do a shameless plug for the venue. They've been here since October. Think about that, less than a year. Think about like the vibe when you first walked in here. It's like part coffee house, part library, part, like that after hours, like that pregame or postgame spot you want to go to. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? They got the 21 and older stuff in the back. I'll make sure I get a beverage. But it's just a good vibe and a good spirit, and it comes back to what you've heard me say time and time again. Your independent bookstores. There's nothing like being at an independent bookstore. Please support these venues. These venues give people like me an opportunity to connect with great people like you. So if you want to continue to connect with other great people like me, please keep patronizing and supporting these great spaces and places. Because if they're not here, we lose connection. We simply do, and that's a connection you don't want to lose. Like, this is my first time coming. I can see myself coming back regardless of if I'm doing a talk or a signing. And it's a good spot. Like, it really is. It's a good vibe. So again, give not only yourselves a round of applause, but give the folks that are working here a round of applause. Thank you.